Welcome back to Tech Tips for Digital Learning Environments. Today we're going to focus on adding quizzes to Canvas. So the first thing you need to do is log into your Canvas page. So I'm here in my media literacy class. I'm going to go to modules. You can go directly to quizzes. I like to work from modules though, because if I place something in modules, it automatically adds it to the quizzes section. However, if I add something in the quiz section, it does not automatically add it to modules. So I always work from modules. Anytime I'm adding assignments or quizzes or pages or anything that I need, I always work from modules. I just think it makes things a little easier. So I'm going to go to modules. I have my modules broken up by the week. So when students are with me, they get all of their work for the whole week right there in front of them, and they can access the resources for that week. You may choose to set yours up differently. Actually, with us moving to a somewhat long-term digital learning platform, I may reorganize how I have mine on here, but when I'm physically in the building with students, this is what works best for me. You could organize by day, you could organize by unit of study, you could organize by quizzes, assignments, resources for supplemental learning, whatever you want to do. This is your page, but I have mine by weeks, and students just work through the assignments for that week. And then they know they have everything done. So I'm going to just scroll to the bottom, and I'm going to just add a quiz to this bottom module. This is kind of just old stuff I play around with. So I'm going to find the module where I want to put the assignment. So whatever week I'm working in or whatever module you're putting yours in, I'm going to click the plus sign. And right here on this drop-down box, I don't want to add an assignment. I want to add a quiz. So I'm going to click Add Quiz. I'm going to do a new quiz, and then I'm going to name the quiz. And I'm going to name it Quiz to Delete, so I'll know to go back and delete this later. I can choose which section I want to put this in under assignments, so I'm going to just add it to my quiz section. I can indent if I want to, but that's not super important. I'll show you what that means. I'm going to click Add Item. You'll notice that some of these items are indented, and that's all that means. It just kind of pushes them out so you could have different categories of work. But this one I did not indent, so it puts it right here. I'm going to click on it. And then I have the ability to edit my quiz. So I'm going to click Edit. And this is where I would just put general directions for the quiz. But I'm actually going to flip over to this tab for questions to start putting the questions in there. And I'm going to click New Question and just start working. So you do have to title your questions. I guess you don't technically have to. You could leave them all as this default. But I usually title them for whatever quiz they go with. So if my title of my quiz is Quiz to Delete, I would do Quiz to Delete 1, and I would name all of my questions. That's just how I like to stay organized. Again, you can leave it the default. It really doesn't matter. But later on, if you are doing a lot of quizzes, and for my final exam, a lot of times half the questions are questions that I pull from other quizzes I've given out throughout the semester. And so I don't have to retype all those questions. I can just pull that question from somewhere else. So if it's copyright, I would know, okay, I want 2 copyright questions on my final exam that they've already seen, and then I'm going to do 2 new copyright questions. So you can organize your questions that way if you choose to. So I title my question, and then I choose what kind of question I want. So I'm going to do a couple of examples. I'm going to start with multiple choice. I can decide how many points I want it to be. I can go back and edit this later if I want to. I grade on the point system. So just depending on what it is, a lot of times I'll make like all questions worth 2 points. Or if it's a short answer question, I might make it worth 5. So I just assign points. But if you're trying to get to 100%, obviously you would want to divide those points accordingly. So I just type the question in here. All right, and then I can choose what the answers are. So I might put A answer, B answer, C answer. And then I choose which one of these is the correct answer. So if that's the correct answer, I would put it there. I can add a comment. So this right here, if they get the question correct, what will pop up? You don't have to do this. A lot of times I don't. Typically, I don't put anything in the correct answer one, but sometimes I'll put something here in this red one. If they get the answer incorrect, do you want it to give them some sort of message? So I might say something like, nice try, but, and then I would give some sort of explanation as to why the answer was not correct, to try to help them out. But you don't have to do that. You don't have to put any of that information in there, but those are some options if you want to get some sort of response back to the students after they've answered. And then I just click update question. So it's got first question on there, and then I just do a new question. For true false, it's basically the same thing. You put your content in here, and then it gives you the option which one is correct. Is it true or is it false? And you can give responses back, and you would update your question. There's fill in the blank. Now, I will tell you that spelling counts on fill in the blank. So if I'm not concerned about their spelling, what I do is it says possible answers. I try to guess how they might misspell the answer. For example, if the answer is going to be student, I might also put that in there, if that's a common way that they might misspell student. So I try to guess, but worst case scenario, if they get it wrong, you can go back after it's been graded and you can modify their answer. So definitely always go back and make sure that if it's a short answer or fill in the blank, that if you're not concerned about spelling, now if you tell them spelling counts, then it counts. But if you're not concerned about spelling, then go back and you can modify their grade even after they've submitted it. So these are just possible answers. You don't have to put two. You could just put the actual answer. So that's fill in the blank. Fill in multiple blanks, exactly what it says. So you can have multiple blanks. It says show possible answers for, and it would be for the first blank. And it does tell you how to do this. You need to put these parentheses in here, the brackets. And so you would put, if it was a name, so possible answers would be Ms. Williams, and then if I needed to add more, I could do that. I could drop down to school name, Parkwood High. So that is if you have multiple fill in the blanks. You would put them in that way. I'm going to start a new question just so it's not so jumbled up. So that's multiple fill in the blanks, multiple answers. If it's select all of the choices below that could be true, if you want them to be able to select multiple answers, you could do that. Multiple drop downs. So they're going to have a little drop down button where they can answer the question. Matching, some of these I'm not super familiar with. Numerical answer, obviously if it's math. Formula question, essay question, just gives them a bigger box where they can respond, and you would have to go back and manually grade those. They could upload a file, or you could have a text box with no question. They could just type information in there if you wanted a space for them to add comments at the end. So this is how you set up a quiz, and then you would just save it. And so right now it's only worth 2 points. I didn't adjust the points in there, so you would want to adjust those points. You can preview it and see what it looks like for the students. So this is what mine looks like right now. I'm going to show you an actual quiz that I've done for students so you can get a better picture of what this might look like. What's the username on Destiny? And so they would type in that username. What's the password for Destiny? So I did all short answer on this one. I do a lot of short answer because I don't like multiple choice where they can just guess. I want to really see what they know. So this one was all short answer. However, I do some multiple choice. Let me see if I can find one with multiple choice. All right, so this one is fill in the blank. Here's a true false question. Multiple fill in the blanks. Some multiple choice. So this one has a little bit of everything on it. Short answer. All right, so I'll show you what this looks like once a student has responded. So I'm going to go back to this quiz. And instead of clicking preview, I'm going to click over here on speed grader so you can see what this looks like. So a student completed this quiz, and you'll notice it tells you which ones are correct. However, I can go in and override a question if I need to. So unfortunately, I can't show you that because the grading period has closed for this particular assignment. So now I can't go back and edit it because the grading period is already closed. But if that were not the case, I could click on here and I could actually edit this grade. Also at the bottom, it gives you the option to add some fudge points. So if I have a question that maybe I didn't word it correctly and all the students missed it and I realized that was on me because maybe it wasn't written well or something was going on, then I can give them a couple of fudge points. And I can add a comment, hey, I gave everybody 2 extra points for question number 4 because the question was not worded clearly. So I can give them a little extra there. But then again, if my grades are synced to PowerSchool, once I put that grade in here, it will sync right over to PowerSchool and put it in PowerTeacher Pro for me. So I hope this helps you understand a little bit more about quizzes. One other thing I want to show you on here, I'm going to go back to the quiz, and I'm going to look at moderate this quiz. I know sometimes teachers are concerned about cheating. I know that's going to be even more difficult to monitor while we're doing distance learning, so it's going to look a little different, but this might be some information that's helpful for you. I can see on my student's information here, I have my student name, and I do have that covered up for her privacy, but there's her name, and it tells me she finished in 20 minutes. And so that's a good indication for me. If this was a quiz that should have taken 30 minutes or an hour or however long, I can kind of see, okay, well, it took her 20 minutes to do this quiz. So it helps me know, did she really put her time into it, or did she not focus on the quiz like she should have? I can also click on the student's name and then go right here where it says view log, and I can actually see what she did while she was taking this quiz. Now, for my students, most of their quizzes, I do allow them to go back and look for information because in my course, I really put a lot of emphasis on if you don't know the answer, how are you going to figure it out? Problem solve. What are you going to do? And so I encourage them to go back and look for the answers if they don't know them, just using some of those research skills that they have. And so she did leave Canvas quite often to go back and look at answers, I'm assuming. But this will tell you, she started her session, she answered question number 5, so she's not answering the questions in order, okay? Not that that matters, but it's just interesting data to have. Then she answered question number 1, then she left Canvas and went somewhere. We don't really know where. And then she came back, she answered question 1. So I don't know if she changed her answer here or if she was just looking at question 1 again. And it said viewed and possibly read questions 1 and 2. So Canvas is keeping track. Where are they scrolling to? What are they looking at? But you can see each time she left Canvas to go somewhere. And I'm assuming this was a tough quiz. It's about copyright. So I'm assuming she's going back and forth checking her answers to make sure she's getting these correct. And now, again, in my case, I encourage that. I want them to double check their answers and make sure that they're getting them correct. I would rather them do the research and get the right answer than just go through and click things or type answers in. But if you don't want them to leave Canvas and they should be working without going to another screen, this is very helpful for you to see this, how often they left and went to another screen. So just an interesting way to keep track of what students are doing on your quiz. Also, there is a 90-second PD that I have that will show you how to do Google Form quizzes, where if students are doing the quizzes from their Chromebook, the Chromebook will lock their computer down where they can't go anywhere else on their computer while they're taking that quiz. Now, especially with digital learning, that doesn't prevent them from opening up another computer or a tablet or a telephone, but that might help reduce the cheating that's taking place. But again, this is a learning environment that's going to be very different than we have in our classroom. So the types of quizzes and things that you're going to be giving to students is going to look much different. As always, if you have any questions and I can help out, please shoot me an email. I'm happy to help in any way I can.